Hello again and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album, and today I'm continuing with Judas Priest. A little recap for those who haven't seen previous Judas Priest episodes. I was never much of a Judas Priest fan, never bought any of their records until I bought the Metalworks, that it was a compilation album that came out in 93 or 94, around there. I bought that. I think that was the only Judas Priest album I ever bought in any format, vinyl, CD, cassette, 8-track, whatever. Until recently, or last year, I guess it was well over a year ago now, that I started to buy some of these classic Judas Priest albums, and I'm going through them. I've done so far with some kind of mixed results. I'm still not totally on board the Judas Priest train. And I'm not sure of the order. And today I'm going to talk about Sin After Sin, which I think was their third album. First one was Rock-A-Rolla, which is kind of very unlike Judas Priest. I'm not sure about that one. Sad Wings of Destiny, I know, is their second one. I like that one a lot. Sin After Sin, I think, was next after that. I don't know if Stay in Class was next. I do remember I liked Stay in Class. Now I'm not sure of the order, but Hellbent for Leather, I was quite disappointed in that. Didn't really like that one at all. There was one song that I thought was horrible. Was it Take on the World, I think it was called. Horrible song. What else? Point of Entry was not very good. I did buy Defenders of the Faith. Not at the time in '84, although I did love Love Bites and Free Will Burning. Bought that much later. I never did buy Screaming for Vengeance. Anyway, I still have to do several Judas Priest albums, but kind of a mixed bag so far. So this one, Sin After Sin, you know what I think about it? This one, I like it. This is, for at least from the ones I've listened to so far, for sure better than Hellbent for Leather, and Point of Entry. I'm not sure where I would rank it, but I do like it quite a lot. Some classics. And I do, since I'm not familiar with these records too much, you know what that means. Had to take notes, so I've got my notes here. Now, there are a few on this one that I was familiar with, I guess either from, mostly from the Metalworks compilation that I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, and at least one song here from, I think I knew early on from taping. I used to tape those late night metal shows on Friday night, Saturday night, and I knew one of the songs from there. Other than that, there are, and one other, but I guess 5 of the 8 songs I'd never heard before. So I do need notes for this one. All right, are we ready to go? Are you ready? Are you strapped in? Do you have a beverage with you, a snack, whatever you want? Here we go. Oh, I should show the record first. Well, I'm going to open it now. There it is, Sin After Sin. I love this album cover, I have to say. I don't know what it means. I don't know what this structure represents. The back is really cool too, but it just has a really cool, I don't know, the color scheme of it, the skull here, this woman sitting here, I don't know what she's doing there or who she is, but I just like it. It looks very big and grand and majestic. There's a lurker, someone lurking, I think he's lurking there, and yeah, very cool album cover. And they still had this font, the logo with this font, before they switched to the classic Judas Priest logo. So this one I can open up easily because it is torn a little bit here. I'm not sure what's inside. As I said, I never had this on any format ever. This is the first time. I think the other Judas Priest albums, they did have really good packaging. Maybe Rock-A-Rolla was different, I think, because that, I think, was licensed to somebody else, or it wasn't part of their remaster series that came out some years ago on vinyl. I expect this will be a good one. We'll see momentarily. It should have an insert in it like the other ones did. All right, no hype sticker on this one, so I can put this here. All right, and there's, I showed the back. The back is really cool. The back is maybe cooler than the front. All right. Okay. Yeah, a little bit. This doesn't have the insert. That's okay. It was just like an order form. This is actually very cool packaging. So it's got the lyrics there and a nice looking sleeve, and then the back cover of the record is repeated on the other side of the inner sleeve. So yeah, lyrics here. Cool. All right, good packaging. I don't think I'm going to be quoting too many lyrics on this album. As I said, I've only even heard until recently 3 of these songs. So no lyric recitation. Is that the word? Recital? Recitation? I'm not sure. I won't be saying too many lyrics, I don't think. Maybe none. Probably none. So going to my notes here, we're going to start with Sinner. I just said, no lyrics. This is one that I do know some sacrifice to vice or die by the hands of the sinner. Sacrifice to vice or die by the hands of the sinner. I did know this one. This is one that I had, I guess one of the early Judas Priest songs that I ever heard. I had it on a tape from one of these Friday or Saturday Night Metal shows. And then I guess it was on the Metalworks compilation. Also, I knew it from there. I think this is a great Judas Priest song. Especially as an opening song, it's kind of got that same vibe as "Delivering the Goods," which is the first song on Hellbent for Leather, I think. And that's a really good song. Sinner is fantastic. Next is Diamonds and Rust. This, as far as I can remember, and I'm pretty sure this is accurate, this is the second Judas Priest song that I ever heard. This was on, for me, at least a single in Canada. I think the only Judas Priest record or material that I ever bought, I had the single of You Got Another Thing Coming. I think it was not coming, but coming. I had that single, and whenever it was out, 1982, I guess it was, and never got the Screaming for Vengeance album ever at any point. I don't know why. But I did have You Got Another Thing Coming. And there's a live version of Diamonds and Rust on the B side of You Got Another Thing Coming. And I don't know if it was a version from Unleashed in the East or if it was another version. But so I did know Diamonds and Rust, the live version anyway. And that, not Delivering the Goods, You Got Another Thing Coming was the first Judas Priest song I ever heard, as far as I can remember, which would make sense that Diamonds and Rust was the second one. But this is a studio, and it's a cover by, I guess, Joan Baez. And I like it. This is obviously a studio version on here, the live version on the B side of You Got Another Thing Coming. I like it. I wasn't a big fan when I was a kid. I just wanted to hear You Got Another Thing Coming. But I like Diamonds and Rust. Pretty good song. Next is Starbreaker. I had never heard this one before. And not much to say about it. It was okay. It was fine. Nothing special. But it didn't suck like The End of the World or Edge of the World, Take on the World, We Are the World, that song, that shitty song on Hellbent for Leather. Next is Last Rose of Summer. Now, oh my God, what a surprise this one was. Another one I'd never heard before. Love it. And it's maybe hyperbole to say that it's vaulted to the top of my list of favorite Judas Priest songs after, 2 listens. But Last Rose of Summer is a fucking awesome song. Maybe the most, I don't know how you would say it, the most un-Judas Priest song I've ever heard. The song most unlike Judas Priest you would expect. I think there were a few on Rock-A-Rolla that were also different from what we came to know Judas Priest as, maybe starting with, British Steel or Hellbent for Leather, a metal band. But, oh my God, yeah, Last Rose of Summer is fantastic. And the amazing thing is, I don't think I'd ever heard or seen anybody, I am, even though I'm not a big Judas Priest fan, I'm a big metal fan. And I'm aware of, at least largely what people think to some degree, what people think about. I know what songs are kind of more highly regarded and what songs are, thought of as shitty by a lot of bands. And I've never heard anybody, not one person, I don't think I'd ever heard the title. When I listened to this record the other day and I said, Last Rose of Summer, I never heard that. I knew some song titles, some Judas Priest song titles that I'd never heard. Better by You, Better Than Me, White Heat, Red Hot. Those I think both on Stained Class. But I'd never heard the title Last Rose of Summer, which means I'd never heard anybody say it's a great song. Does that make it underrated? Is that the definition of underrated, that nobody talks about it, but I think it's great? I'm not sure. But yeah, man, Last Rose of Summer I love it. That was a great song. except the last, it dragged on, or the last minute or so. I think they could have cut at least a minute off. But yeah, that Last Rose of Summer is really, really good. That's one that I got to get into more. That would have been the end of side 1. Now on side 2, the opening track is Let Us Pray / Call for the Priest, which, based on, and I love that title. It's very cool. It's Let Us Pray, P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-Y. Call for the Priest. I don't know if that was a mistake, a typo, or if that was intentional. Now, when I listened to this for the first time, and it starts with this kind of quiet intro and call for the priest, I'm dying. To me, I thought it should have been, instead of Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest, shouldn't it have been Call for the Priest / Let Us Pray? Anyway, but I really, really like that quiet intro and the Call for the Priest, I'm dying. I kind of wish that had been fleshed out into a full song. I know, I think that could have made a good one, but it serves just as an intro to what I guess is Call for the Priest, but to me is Let Us Pray, which is very, very fast, almost kind of reminded me of Exciter, the first song from Stay in Class, I think it was. Fast, kind of almost even like a proto-speed metal. I think Sin After Sin came out in 76 or 77? 77, oh no. It was reissued in... We got 97, 2001, 2017. I don't know when the original one came out. 76 or 77. So I think this is a little bit of speed metal in Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest. That's it. Very good song. I like that one a lot. Next is Raw Deal. This is another one. So when I was listening to this record today, and I listened to it a couple days ago too. When I listened to it today, I was listening and reading along with the lyrics for every song too. And I don't know how I never heard anybody ever again, just like Last Rose of Summer, I never heard anybody talk about Raw Deal. And now, reading the lyrics, I can't believe that there was any doubt ever that Rob Halford was gay. And I have to give the obligatory, not that there's anything wrong with that. I shouldn't have to say that. But it's a totally gay song. He's basically saying, I'm gay. It's I guess, about going to bars, and he talks about the guys looking at me, or he talks about a spike, and says that the big boys, splitting at seams or something. I guess he's talking about his endowment, his large penis is maybe splitting the seam of his trousers. Very, very gay song. Now, when I remember from the time shortly after I first heard Judas Priest, maybe a couple years after, rumors of Rob Halford being gay. And I don't know how they were rumors, except for the fact that he never actually came out until like 1998. But it was pretty obvious here that he was saying, I am gay. And then I guess towards the end of it, there's this kind of repeating part. He says, love knoweth no laws. I just wrote that down, and which seems kind of relevant in 2024 as well. And I like that song, by the way. It's a good song, Raw Deal. Next, two more. Here Come the Tears. This is another one like Call for the Priest, or Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest, kind of a quiet intro, which I wasn't really too keen on an intro. I thought didn't really do much for him. But then after that, I liked it a lot. And this song, it had kind of an epic feel to it. It was only 4 minutes and 36 seconds, but there was something about it that felt kind of, it had a big, grand, epic feel to it. Although similar to, what song was it? Last Rose of Summer. It kind of got repetitive. The last 30 seconds, maybe the last minute got repetitive. But I like Here Come the Tears, except for the intro. So. And then the last song is Dissident Aggressor. And as you might expect, I'm a big Slayer fan. I think that's been established. And I'm going to talk about a couple of Slayer albums coming up in the next months. I don't know. So until, I don't know when, I'd only heard Slayer's version. Slayer covered Dissident Aggressor on South of Heaven. And I always liked it. I love South of Heaven. But for me, that was always my least favorite. I guess I just didn't like... I'm kind of weird about covers on albums. Sometimes I feel like they don't have a place. And Dissident Aggressor on an otherwise almost like just about perfect album, South of Heaven, I just thought it was a little bit strange. But I always liked it. I guess I kind of wished it had been a Slayer song and they had put Dissonant Aggressor as a single from what I don't know if there were any singles from South of Heaven. But it wasn't until many, many years later that I heard Judas Priest version. Maybe it was on the Metalworks CD. Now, something that is quite different about Judas Priest version, Tom Araya, who, he sings it, and I was only familiar with that version. He kind of sings it very, not spoken word, but, Rob Halford really, really sings it, whereas Tom Araya kind of sings it in a kind of a toned down version. And when I was listening to the lyrics only today, Halford is singing stab. And I always thought it was stand, but it's actually stab. And then Slayer has stab. This guitar that substitutes for Halford screaming or singing stand. I think it's ball, stand, no, stab, bow. So he's actually, I think I'm not explaining this properly, but if you know both versions, you will understand it. So Slayer replaces, there are 4 he yells, stab, ball, fast crawl, maybe something like that. And Slayer substitutes a wailing, just a little guitar for Halford's screaming vocals. That was a really bad explanation. But that's a great song, man. I love Dissonant Aggressor. I think it's an amazing song. That's how I want Judas Priest to be. And I've said this about a few of their other songs. If all Judas Priest songs sounded like Dissonant Aggressor or Sinner or The Ripper or Victim of Changes, I would be a much, much bigger Judas Priest fan. But they have some ones that I'm just not too sure about. Yeah, but there it is. So no, but overall this is a good one. Not my favorite, and again, I don't care about ranking them, but I do like it. And this is Judas Priest, Sin After Sin.